So the Detroit Lions beat the Houston Texans yesterday in a game that really they had no business winning. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. Dan Campbell said that only one of them he could have kind of put on Jared Goff, but I think it's kind of fitting how the head coach, and I remember when after the game was over, I thought it was very touching, and I want to know what Jared Goff said. If I was in the podium, the locker room, I would have said, Goff, what did you say? Jared, what did you say to coach when y'all was walking off the field? Jared Goff, I guarantee you he said something like, I promise you that'll never happen again. I will never let you down. I will never throw 5 interceptions in my career, right? He had the worst game of his career, and the Detroit Lions won the game they had no business winning. But what's annoying me is this whole Jared Goff lost the MVP yesterday. And what a lot of people don't seem to understand, or they don't want to acknowledge, is that Detroit Lions fans knew that he was never going to win MVP. Calvin Johnson didn't win MVP. Barry Sanders won MVP in the 1990s. There was no way that Jared Goff was going to win MVP. We've seen this before. Matthew Stafford, 2016, the same year he became the highest paid player in the National Football League. He also was a dark horse to win MVP. Never had a chance. The MVP voting is done by the Associated Press. They were never going to vote for him to win MVP. But what annoys me is you act like we care about that. Oh, well, Robert Griffin III yesterday. Well, Jared Goff, he did this, but he won the game, lost MVP. He was never going to win it in the first place. And I assure you that the only people thinking about MVP for Jared Goff, as far as y'all were making that narrative, we weren't talking about that. We don't care about no doggone MVP. We don't care about it. When was the last time the MVP of the league won the Super Bowl? Was it Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago? Lamar Jackson has never been to a Super Bowl. Never won one. What is he, 2-time MVP, right? This MVP thing, that's like movie critics. If you go to a show, how many of y'all listen to the movie critics? How many of y'all care about IMDb? How many of y'all care about Rotten Tomatoes? You go and you see the movie, you make your own decision. He was never going to win MVP. Yeah, he had a horrific game yesterday. But one thing I noticed about Jared Goff, and this is from, I'm done. I'm done with everybody wanting to turn their back on him. I'm not doing it. I've never turned my back on Jared Goff from year 1 to year 4. I haven't done it. Coach hasn't. I assure you Brad Holmes hasn't. The team, nobody batted an eye yesterday. Nobody batted an eye yesterday when it came to Jared Goff and his interceptions. Not a single Detroit Lion. And if I promise you that. Most of the times when Jared Goff throws interceptions, they are because of timing. It's always a lot of times. Matthew Stafford is a gunslinger. He's like the quick and the dead. You know what I'm saying? He's draw. That's Matthew Stafford. Jared Goff is not that guy. He's not that guy. He's the one that's up on the roof sniping you, right? Jared Goff is a precision passer. You give him time. You run the route you're supposed to run. You are where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be. He will dot you up. We've seen it time and time again. I don't understand Lions fans. I know this video is kind of all over the place, but Lions fans go from Jared Goff. The dude literally came off of his history-making streak. We've seen this before. He went 10 games with no interception, and most of them were not his fault. That's according to Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell might have given 1 interception to Jared Goff, but if you watch the tape, Laporta was impeded, all right? Quarterbacking is about timing. It's about everything about the position is timing, right? Jamison Williams, he went this way, looked like Goff thought he was going to go further. How many times? Then you had the tip drill. The offensive line yesterday, that first half was atrocious, right? But we knew that he wasn't going to win MVP. And you know what I'm tired of saying? And I think that I've never been one to say this, but it annoys me when people say what somebody's not, right? Well, he's no Patrick Mahomes, or he's no this. I mean, did he play? Did he blah, 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 blah? No, but. There's always a but in something. We can never just lift somebody up and just say what they are. Jared Goff is not a mobile quarterback. He's not agile. He's not a scrambler. He's not an athletic quarterback in a sense of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen, who's an absolute the dude is a beast. He's not that guy. But what he is a precision passer who is given enough time, he will dot you up. He will carve you up. We've seen it over and over and over. How do you think you go 18 for 18 if you're not, if you're not him, right? So I'm tired of this whole narrative with the Detroit Lions fan base. It's like, and it really annoys me because you would rather root for Stafford, who plays for another team, than to support your guy, right? It's just ridiculous to me. But as far as the media and MVP is concerned, he was never going to win MVP. We knew that. Barry Sanders, you couldn't help but give it to him. That dude was fantastic. The narrative, y'all, as far as the media is concerned, they're still having a hard time wrapping their head around the fact that we are a good football team, right? So anyway, let me know your thoughts, man. Jared Goff, MVP. Are you upset that he is out of the race now? He was never really in it. I'm going to tell you how this is going to go. Lamar Jackson's going to win MVP. Patrick Mahomes is going to the Super Bowl. I'm right now. Bookmark this video.